Instagram. How are you guys doing? Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Really nice to have you here. As usual, I'm going to quickly start with doing my checks and making sure that everything is working properly. But aside from that, I just wanted to say today I'm going to be talking about how to prepare for a training. Whoa, Instagram's on fire. How are you guys doing? Hey, confused monk. That's a really funny name. Tracy. Hey, the blissful health coach. Nice. And on Facebook, please let me know who you are. All right, let me just do this. Facebook, yeah, Facebook, I can't see the name. I don't know why that is. YouTube, hey, many people on YouTube as well. Hey, Dad. Mwah. Really cool to have you guys here. So I am about to give a training for my amazing Launch Your Business students. And what we do is that obviously the aim of the event is for people to launch their business and mostly to make money during the event. And so what we do is we run, there we go. We run pre-event training so that during the event, we can really focus on making money. Hello, so many people in the house. Hey, Sander, cool to have you here. Now, why am I not able to share this? Well, let me just do it this way. Not the usual things are possible, but it is possible. There we go. The solution is always there. But you know, the biggest lesson that I always teach at Launch Your Business is the sentence, everything is going to be okay. So if you're making notes, comment below and say everything's going to be okay, because that's a very important lesson, especially if you are working with technology, if you're dependent on the internet, you're dependent on so much software, you're dependent on all the different integrations. You have to know that everything's going to be okay, and that probably for whatever issue or whatever challenge you are facing, there are countless of people who've already found the solution and reported about it. So you just have to go to Uncle Google's and do some smart Googling and to make sure that everything's going to be okay. Hey, we have David in the house. Are you excited for the training? We're going to start soon. We've got Dee here as well. I finally know how to do the waves here. I'm learning. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about quickly today before I'm going to jump on the training with the amazing Launch Your Business students who are coming live from all around the world, which is really cool. I wanted to share, like, how do you prepare for a training? How can you make sure to add maximum value at, going training people? Hey, Tracy, you're here now. You were there, but now you're here. Really cool to have you on Facebook. It's better to go on Facebook, guys. Instagram, your view is always less good than YouTube and Facebook. So I really do want to say go on Facebook or go on to YouTube. Nice, thanks for the love hearts. Okay, so just very quickly, basically, a lot of the time whenever we go through the Launch Your Business education, I always say to people, it's very important to go and add value to people, right? And I've been saying it to you guys as well. Go live, go share a lot of value with your tribe, with your audience, because what is very important to know is that regardless of whatever business you are starting or whatever business you are wanting to scale, good morning, Dee, really nice to have you here, is to understand that people buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust. And so regardless of what you're doing in business, you want to be building that relationship. If you are a coach or you're part of, let's say, the e-learning industry, or you're an influencer, then of course that's what you want to do. But even for parts where it's not as likely or not so, that you don't think, like perhaps a lot of people who want to do drop shipping or e-commerce or something like that, they don't per se feel like they should be in people's faces. They shouldn't per se, be the face of the brand. And in principle, that's not a necessity, but you will boost your business much, much more if you do. And just look at the comparison between Microsoft and Apple. The fact that Apple is so much bigger, or has surpassed Microsoft in a tremendous way, that even right now, when Steve Jobs is no longer here, people are still very, very raving fans and religiously part of the brand, is because of the leverage of Steve Jobs' personal brand. And so whatever it is, hey David, cool to have you here. Hey Rob and Nina Weiss, really nice to have you here. So it's really, really important to start doing that. And when it comes to then you creating something that you want to share, which is of value. I always say that there's a lot of different things that you can do. And just to name a few options for you guys, if you are making notes, I know some of you are always making notes, so feel very free to comment them below, especially on YouTube. I'm very, very proud. I want to give a shout out to Julianne. You're always amazing, writing all kinds of notes. I really, really do appreciate that for the interaction and for, I say accelerated learning. For those of you who don't know what accelerated learning is, I'll cover that in the next video. Hey, Maurice, cool to have you join. So basically, one of the things that you can do is teach people, right? That's one way of adding value, education. Another way of how you can add value is to make sure that you are inspiring people. So you're giving loads of different things that people will go onto the video, they come off the video and they feel inspired. They feel like, yeah, I can do this. Another way is motivation. And obviously motivation and inspiration are very, very closely related. Another thing is entertainment. I personally really, really like that. I always like to go and sing. You see a random mic behind me to dance or to do something which I find is entertaining. And another thing that you can do is just bringing people along the story, along in your story, bringing people behind the scenes, showing people around what it is that you're doing. And that particular thing, you actually want to include whichever type of value adding that you're doing. So those of you who know Tai Lopez, he's a king at this. He could be starting off saying, I'm going to teach you the 3 things how to massively boom your social media. And then he just walks around his yard for 10 minutes, showing you all his cars, his pools, his basketball field. And then at the end of the video, he say, well, actually, I don't have enough time to go and share these 3 points, but make sure to click the link below and watch the webinar or something like that, right? So he is really a king at being able to keep the retention and allowing people to come on the journey with you, because the more retention you have, the longer people want to stay with you, the better it is for your relationship building and really allowing a connection to form, which will later translate in better business because you're making relationships and people buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust. And so that is very important. And if you are then thinking, okay, I want to create my material for this, and obviously the title of this video is like, how do you prepare for giving a training? But this could very much as well be, how can you prepare for doing a live video, or how do you prepare for creating a pre-recorded video, which is cool too, right? And one of the things that is most important when you do that is that you understand what the purpose of that particular training video or whatever is. And you really want to ask yourself the question, what is the thing that you would want people to take away after they have been on this training or after they've been on this video? And what you have to understand is that a lot of the time, what comes easy to you or what you are an expert in, and you feel like, oh, I can do this, I can share this and this and this and this, sometimes, well, or most of the time, is not common sense or common practice to your audience. And so if you want to share everything, which I always used to want to do, then I would always overwhelm people and people would be like that. And then my goal, which I said to you guys at the beginning, you need to set what is the goal, what's the purpose of that particular training. It would not be met at all because people are just overwhelmed. They'll be like, oh my gosh, and like feel like everything was just, like I'm opening a water hose and like throwing all the information at people. So that is not very useful. So you really want to think and make sure what is the prime message that you want to land with people. And you have to understand that you can only land so many messages at the same time. So if I'm going live, there's most of the time only one message that I want to get across. And when I'm giving a longer training, like what I'm going to do with the Launch Your Business students in a bit, then obviously there's much more that I can cover. There's a few key messages that I want to make sure to land. And so in the preparation of doing this, one of the things that I personally always do is I write down in my notebook, like, what are the key messages that I want to get across? So perhaps it will be useful for you too, if you want to either prepare for a live or a video, for training, or anything in which you want to make sure that people will go away from it learning something cool. Oh, Instagram, stay with us. Okay, so that is one thing. Make sure that it is purposeful. Now, what is also very important to do, like, especially if there's a few points that you want to get across, is that you make sure that the points transition into one another in a natural way, if that is possible, right? Sometimes you would be sharing something, which I sometimes have. I'm sharing some things and they're not per se really connected, but they're just very important to get across right now. In that case, you just have to find your way of how to flow from one point to the other. But especially if you are able to do that, if you are able to make a good story, and this is the key word here, if you're making notes, then comment below, storytelling, then that is very important to do. And this is one of the key things that I've learned when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to educating, when it comes to allowing people to be inspired and actually to take action and them getting results. And this is one of the things that I learned from Eric. And what he shared is that it's very important to tell stories. And the best speakers, the best sales people as well, are just able to tell a story, a compelling story. And the audience is then listening to that story, and they're not even feeling like you're teaching them, or they're not even feeling like you're, putting some points across, because it's just like, it's so pleasant. You're just listening to a whole bunch of stories. And so this is also part of what Russell Brunson teaches in, there we go, in these two amazing books, Dot-Com Secrets, Expert Secrets. And basically what it comes to be about is that you're whenever you're teaching or whenever you're sharing material, you're actually just telling a few stories. That's the way how you best get something across. So say, for example, right now in this, I don't know when this was. This was one training that I did. I basically had 3 points. And so what I will then want to do is I want to come up with 3 stories that are then able to bring that point across. So the first one in here says YouTube and Facebook downloader. Oh, this was a very, very practical class that I did for my VIP coaches. So I don't know how to get a story across this, but oh no, there's possibility. So basically what I could say is that a story as how this Facebook and YouTube downloader changed my life and made everything so much faster, blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't know. It's a, I'm doing this off the top of my head right now. But basically, you want to be able, within that story, to share with people how that particular thing made a change for you or someone that you know, such that they understand that if they would apply that particular thing, how that could change everything for them. And that's the most important thing, because what I've also come to learn as a very expensive lesson, I think that lesson cost about wasting around 20 to 30K, which is like a very expensive lesson, that if you teach and you get points across, and you don't effectively communicate the need for those points, the need for why people want to apply those points, then you can just, nothing matters. So that's why a lot of the time I also say to people, like, whenever I'm sharing these strategies, I'm first going to share with you like why you need to put this in place, because I can share all these strategies with you, but if you don't do this, this, and this, then it's not going to do you any good. And you're not going to be able to actually get practical results with this in a fast way. And so it is really important to allow people to understand the need for those certain points, because otherwise, it's just going to be like, it goes, as we say in Dutch, it goes into one ear and it goes out of the other ear, and nobody will actually be able to get results. So that is important. So basically, to just go back to it, so you want to write down what is the real purpose of this, what do you want people who come onto this video, onto this training, to take away from it? Then you want to extract that in a few, not too many, but just a few, maybe 3 points that you want to get across. And then you want to come up with the 3 stories around those points, so that it will nicely flow from one story to another. And they feel like they really want to listen to it, because it's not like you're just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, but it's actually a nice way how you transfer the information from one person to another. And then what is actually explained in this book as well is that a lot of the time you want to start it off with one particular story, and that is the Epiphany Bridge story, that basically shows you, or basically allows people to stay with you. Now, this is specifically when it comes to high-end trainings that are 90 minutes or so at least, or perhaps like Launch Your Business in 5 days, which is 5-day training. Then you want to have one big solid beginning story in why people will want to stay with this, why people will want to listen to this, especially if you're running webinars or you're doing, let's say, 90 minutes presentations from stage where you're going to pitch a program, for example, then especially as well, you want to have a solid story in the beginning that will not just show people why you are qualified to be sharing this with them, but also allow them to see that if they were to listen, if they were to implement the stuff that you're teaching, it could potentially change everything around for them. And so that's what an Epiphany Bridge story is. So when you are then preparing for your video or your training, then it is very smart and efficient to have that story there as well. So essentially what it comes down to is that you, in your preparation, want to boil it down to 4 stories. So the three are the 3 main core elements are the 3 things that you want to get across in that video. So it could be 3 ways how to become the best public speaker or whatever, something like that. And then there's 1 story in the beginning that basically allows them to first jump on, listen to it, think like, whoa, this could actually change my life. Let's just stay on, let's listen, and let's, you know, make sure that I copy all these things and that I'll be able to implement it in my life and get the results that I desire. So that was it for me right now. I've got 13 minutes left before the training with my amazing Launch Your Business students is going to start. But I hope this has been of value to you guys. If you guys thought this was useful, then please feel very free to give it some love. Also, if you think that anybody else could benefit from this training, make sure to give it a share or to tag someone below. But in any case, make sure to implement this in your life and in your business to allow your business to transform and actually get very solid results as well. So wishing you a lovely day, everybody. Bye. Hey, we've got Sanjay in the house as well. I haven't said hi to everybody, but I really got to go now. So bye-bye, Instagram. I'm just going to say bye now. There we go. Instagram is out. Bye-bye, Facebook. Oh, wow. I haven't said hi to a lot of people. Okay, so I'm just going to say hi, everyone. Bye, everyone. And YouTube. Bye, everyone on YouTube.